This is a portobello mushroom, and in today's video, we're gonna turn this portobello mushroom into this. Now in today's video, we're gonna try replicating a rather interesting dish, a bone marrow dish you might find at a fancy steakhouse. But the only difference is, instead of paying $25 for a bone marrow dish at a fancy steakhouse, we're only gonna be spending a few dollars by using very simple ingredients. Number 1, obviously the portobello mushroom. Number 2, shallots. Number 3, some garlic. Number 4, some sliced mushrooms. You can get the sliced ones or the whole ones, doesn't matter, but I think the sliced ones will make this a lot easier for you. Number 5, you're gonna need some nice bread because we're gonna be spreading this onto the bread. That's what you basically do with these bone marrow dishes. At least that's what I'm told. And then you're gonna need some extra virgin olive oil, salt, pepper, and of course you're gonna need butter. And in today's video, I'm gonna be using salted butter. Doesn't really matter, it's gonna be good either way. Okay, so first things first, the portobello mushroom. Now, it took me a very long time in life to find out you're supposed to cut all of this stuff out in the middle. Leave your comments down below if you had any idea you were supposed to do that. But for this dish, it's gonna be really important because we're gonna need a boat to put all of the filling into this dish in order for us to spread it onto the bread. So make sure whenever you're using portobello mushroom, you are supposed to be digging it out. And in this video, of course, we're gonna be doing the same thing. And you can do this any way you want. I'm gonna be using a spoon. If you wanna use your hands, you can do that as well. Now, I will say, make sure you're being a little careful when you're doing this. You don't wanna damage the outsides too much. Again, we wanna house in our filling we're going to use to spread it onto our bread. Something else to know about the portobello mushroom. Portobello mushrooms tend to be rather moist, if you will, or dense with moisture. So when we make this dish, we're gonna really actually be first drying out the portobello mushroom, and then we're gonna rehydrate it with butter, shallots, garlic, salt, pepper, olive oil. It's gonna be really good. I mean, there's almost no way to mess this dish up. Okay, again, it's not gonna be perfect. It should look something like this. Again, the main point behind this is try to make like a cup or a bowl, if you will, so we can house all that good stuff we're gonna spread on our bread. Now, like I said before, we're actually gonna wanna dry this out before we even start cooking it with all of that butter and good stuff. And the way that I'm gonna do it is, I'm actually going to utilize my air fryer you can't see on the screen. My air fryer is down here to my left. But if you wanna use an oven, that's fine as well. The main point of this video is to try to show you guys a dish that is accessible to anyone. And as far as even being able to do this in your own apartment, dorm room, wherever you are, most people have an air fryer. So in today's video, I'm gonna be using an air fryer to dry this out. And you're just gonna set the air fryer for 380 degrees and we're gonna put it in there for 4 minutes. Now, to be clear, when I say we're going to dry this out, we're not trying to turn this into beef jerky or mushroom jerky. And by the way, I do plan to show you guys how to do that as well. Make sure to please subscribe to this channel and I'll show you how to do that. We're just gonna wanna really kind of cook it a little bit, but also pull some of the moisture out. Okay, so that's in the air fryer for 4 minutes, 380 degrees. Now let's go ahead and prep the filling that's gonna go inside the portobello mushroom. So you can find these anywhere. This is gonna be your white mushrooms. Again, you can either get them with the caps on top or you can get them sliced in half. I got them sliced in half. It's gonna be a little more easier for you. So you're gonna wanna grab a handful of these white mushrooms, and the idea, again, this is gonna be the stuffing inside of the portobello mushroom. We can't use the stuffing of the portobello mushroom because we had to dig that out. So we're gonna replace it with white mushroom, chop it finely, along with the garlic, the shallots. It's gonna be all nice and juicy and a great spread. You know, the thing about mushrooms, it can be very intimidating, but mushrooms are amazing. It's actually extremely easy to cook, very hard to mess up. Although they can look a little freaky and sometimes can smell funny, mushrooms really are just a sponge, if you will, a natural sponge where you can add almost anything you want to it and it soaks up all of that flavor and everything kind of just tastes great with mushrooms. Again, just try to chop this nice and fine, slice and dice, nothing too special. Just think about this as a spread. So the finer this is, the easier it'll be to spread. Now in this video, again, I'm only gonna be making one portobello mushroom for you guys, but portobello mushrooms tend to come in packs of 2. So again, if you're gonna be making a pack of 2, you're gonna want a handful. But as far as for this measurement, I'm only really using about 4 of these mushrooms. And again, just chop them nice and fine, just like this. Very, very easy stuff. Okay, now I'm gonna put that to the side, and we're gonna do the same exact thing with the shallot and the garlic. Now, as far as the shallots, you can get shallots in different sizes. Sometimes they're big, sometimes they're small. I went to the store and just kind of looked for the cheapest one, and they came in a really big pack with a bunch of small shallots. So even if you get the shallots that look like this, totally fine as long as it is shallots. Now, if you're wondering, can I use an onion? Yeah, probably. But again, when it comes to shallots, I think there's a little more of a fragrance. It's a lot more lighter. And for a dish like this, again, we're trying to replicate like a steakhouse bone marrow dish. We're trying to be a little more elegant. We're trying to be a little more fancy. So by saying I use shallots, you're really hitting that marker there. But what a lot of people don't want you to know is that this shallot maybe cost like 5 cents. And the technique is very simple. You're gonna wanna slice a couple of these long cuts, and then we're gonna chop up and down right here. Again, we wanna get it as fine as possible to use it for our mixture. Okay, so when cutting shallots, just so you are aware, just like an onion, you might get some tears going on, but that's how you know you have some good ingredients. So again, take the shallots, put them into the mushroom pile, and then do the same exact thing when it comes to the garlic. Again, I cannot stress this enough. You're gonna be mixing this all together with the butter. It's gonna all be cooking together, and you want it to be spreadable, so cut it nice and thin. Now, for the culinary experts out there, you might be thinking in your head, will it be a better idea to just sort of make a paste out of it? I think you could probably do that. Again, I'm not the boss of you. You can do whatever you want. But at the same time, I do think you want a little bit of texture. So if you were to turn this into like a paste and smash it down on this board, yeah, it would work. But at the same time, again, for me, I want a little bit of texture when I'm gonna bite into that. Okay, so again, take your time, don't cut your fingers off. Blood is not an ingredient for this recipe. Sometimes it happens, but we're not gonna do that today. Now again, make sure these are nice and thin, throw it into the mushroom shallot pile. Okay, now the portobello mushroom is done. Let's go ahead and take a look and see what that looks like. Okay, so here is the portobello mushroom. I don't know if you guys can see this, but I have some steam coming off of it. Again, a lot of that moisture has been drawn out, and that's really what we want. Before I put this portobello mushroom in there, it was really like a hard hockey puck, if you will. But now, again, we're pulling some of that moisture out, and you can actually eat this if you want. This is cooked, good to go. But again, we're gonna take all of this, create a filling, spread it onto our bread. Maybe if you want, you can even eat it like a taco, but let's go ahead and get to the next step. We're gonna be using butter. Okay, so this technique is gonna be very simple. I'm gonna be using a whole stick of butter. It's gonna be salted butter. Again, whether salted or not, it's gonna be good either way because we're gonna be seasoning with salt as well. So full stick of butter, put it right in the pan. So you're not gonna want this pan too hot, but you also don't want it too cold. The idea is not to burn the butter, and I also wanna add some extra virgin olive oil to mix in with this goodness. Okay, so as this starts to melt down, I am now going to add my filling. That's gonna be the garlic, the white mushrooms, and of course the shallots. Now again, if you don't wanna use a full stick of butter, that is totally fine, but for me, I'm gonna wanna do that. Again, this is not meant to be the healthiest dish. This is really meant to be a very good dish that you can, again, spread on your bread. And who doesn't love spreading butter on their bread? Now add on top of that all of these extra ingredients. And again, it's gonna look fancy. So once that butter has mostly melted down, now what I'm gonna do is start to increase the heat ever so slowly, starting to build up that heat and starting to cook all of these ingredients. If you want, you can go immediately super hot at this point, start to sweat everything down, but you do run into the problem again of maybe burning the ingredients and really firming them up. You really want to make sure these ingredients are not necessarily too firm, spreadable. That's the point. Okay, so as all of this simmers and cooks together, let's go ahead and prepare our next very important ingredient. Some might say one of the most important parts of this, the actual bread itself. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and cut this right down the middle. I am using an Italian artisanal bread according to the package. Again, you can use whatever you want. You can even buy that pre-cut bread if you want. And by the way, if you are going to multitask, make sure you can actually multitask. Okay, and from here, I'm gonna give a generous slice, not too thin, not too big. Now, when it comes to the bread, again, it's gonna be totally up to you, but make sure you're getting a piece of bread that does have a nice, strong crust here. Also, you're not gonna want this too thin, because what we're gonna do is actually take the bread and simmer it in the butter on both sides, toasting it and getting all of that flavor. We're really trying to maximize this as much as possible. Now, I didn't forget about our portobello over in the air fryer. There's a couple of ways you can actually do this. If you want, you can even take all of that filling once you feel like it's nice and cooked down, put it in the portobello mushroom, and put it back into the air fryer, and you can just eat it like that if you want. But for me, what I'm gonna do is actually take this portobello mushroom and go ahead and put it in with some of this butter and start to sort of crisp up that outside just a little bit, and also, again, maximize that flavor of getting the butter, garlic, and shallots. Now, at the same time, make sure you are seasoning this dish. We are using just salt and pepper, making it very simple. Also, make sure you are hitting that top side as well. We're not only focusing on the outer parts, you wanna make sure you're getting the inside as well. Again, if you want, you can eat the portobello mushroom just like this, but we really wanna maximize everything here. Okay, so I'm gonna take this portobello mushroom off of the pan, and now I'm gonna go ahead and take my bread. While everything else is still heating up and frying up, I'm gonna take this bread and also put it in the pan as well, towards more so the outer edge. While the bread is getting nice and toasty, I'm gonna go ahead and start to fill up the portobello mushroom. Again, all you're doing is just getting a spoon, going into the butter, picking up all of your ingredients and putting it right in the middle here. Just be careful because the butter is gonna be a little hot. Okay, now from here, be very careful. This is gonna be nice, hot, and toasty and buttery. Like I just burned myself just a little bit. Again, you're gonna wanna let this cool down just a little bit more, let it get nice and toasty as it airs out. At the same time, this is already ready to go. So if you want, you can eat this portobello mushroom just like this. Now, we're gonna test this out just to show you guys you can eat it, and I'm not gonna pass out and fall through this tent back here. Just to show you, again, make sure you're putting your finger in here. You're gonna have a lot of different textures going on. You're gonna have the shallots that have crisped up, you're gonna have the garlic, and you're gonna have those mushrooms as well. So it's gonna be a flavor explosion. Unbelievable. I promise you, you are gonna be shocked. The flavor that is coming out of here. And I know it looks like I burnt my face, and I did just a little bit, but it goes to show you how much flavor is there, that you can still burn your tongue just a little bit and still taste all of these flavors. The butter, the salt, the shallots, everything is coming together. A lot of fragrance coming in here, and also a lot of meat as well. You can't do that with a bone marrow dish. You can't chomp through the bones, but you can do that with this. Okay, so from here, we are going to take all of this filling and spread it on top of our bread. And all of that just melts right off onto the bread. Now from here, we're gonna go ahead and do what I've been wanting to do for a while now. We're gonna go ahead and bite into this, and I'll let you guys know whether or not it's good. I'm a little worried it might not be good. Let's see. Unbelievable. I promise you, if you make this dish, which I think only cost around $5 when you bring all the ingredients together, it's gonna be a showstopper, I think. I think you're gonna really impress people. But more important, it goes to show you that when it comes to like portobello mushrooms, or mushrooms in general, you don't have to be afraid of them. And you don't only have to buy those mushrooms that are stuffed with whatever and then you put it on the grill and hope it's good. I really do advise you take these extra steps, but I promise you, again, if you make this dish and you tell people, well, this is sort of gonna be like bone marrow, or it's gonna be like a stuffed mushroom, but we're gonna enhance the stuffed mushroom, this is where it's at. And again, even if you just wanna eat the portobello mushroom with the stuffing in it, you can do that as well. You can do whatever you want. I'm not your boss, but I will say spreading it on the bread does make it a million times better to get that crunch and to get everything all together in one bite. Nothing like it. When it comes to the portobello mushroom, again, make sure you are scooping it out and make sure you take that extra step to throw it into an air fryer to pull out all of that moisture and actually get some movement to the portobello mushroom. Otherwise, it's just gonna be stiff and it's not gonna be that good. And so when you take all of that butter and all of the ingredients and you're basting it on top of here, you're also cooking that top layer. So if you want, you can even cook it longer and you'll get a little more, some better textures, if you will. Let's just try this. What if we take the portobello mushroom and the bread and eat it all together? I don't know what else to say. Portobello mushroom, turn it into a bone marrow dish. I think this is a mission success. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, this was an amazing dish. I didn't think it would be this good. It's actually really good. And for those of us who don't really ever go to fancy steakhouses and you see those really amazing bone marrow dishes, well, now you don't have to do that. Now you can just do it yourself for like $5. So again, I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to please subscribe, leave your comments down below. Let me know what else you want me to try and replicate with mushrooms. And also please like this video. It helps out a ton. We'll see you all later.